For sure, Toy Story 5 definitely left all the fans who watched the animated movie wanting more. But do you already know all the incredible things that could happen in Toy Story 6? Everyone, including us, was expecting Lotso to show up in Toy Story 5, since there were several clues that this would happen. However, the evil strawberry-scented bear wasn't noticed, which doesn't mean he didn't appear in a very subtle way in the fifth movie. Think about it with me. Lotso ended Toy Story 3 stuck to the bumper of a garbage truck, remember? And that exact same truck appears in the tunnel scene, right before the kiss between Jessie and Buzz. Since it drives by really fast, it's not possible to notice if Lotso is on the front bumper or inside with the driver. But the fact is, there's almost a 100% chance that he was there. And because of this little Easter egg that Pixar put in their movie, we can come to the conclusion that Lotso not only saw all the buzzes flying in the sky, but that it also reignited inside him the desire for revenge that might have been dormant. This would simply be the perfect plot to reintroduce the biggest and baddest villain of the entire franchise, don't you think? But what if, besides Lotso, we had for the first time not just one toy villain, but two? If you stop to analyze it, we've always had one toy or one human as a villain. And in some cases, like in Toy Story 2, we had one toy, Stinky Pete, and one human, Al, as villains. So Toy Story 6 would be the perfect movie for us to have two evil toys acting to harm our characters. And the perfect second villain would be none other than, get ready, Woody. But hold on, we're not talking about our Woody, but actually another Woody. A bitter and old toy, even older than Buzz's best friend, who would show up to destroy everyone's happiness. And the basis for this theory is directly linked to the first Toy Story movie. And when I say first, I mean the very first, before the one that hit theaters in 1995. Few people know this, but in Pixar's original story, the villain of the movie was going to be Woody himself, only in a puppet version, very similar to the one we see playing on television on the old Woody's Roundup show from the 1950s in Toy Story 2. And what if, in the present day, there was, besides our Woody, just one other Woody who would be exactly that same puppet doll that appeared on the old Woody show, and who has been locked away in a trunk for decades after the show ended. And somehow, he ends up getting out of that trunk and discovers he is the last Woody. And because of that, he's loved by everyone, just like back in the day when he was a television star. At least that's what he thought, until he discovers the existence of our Woody and does everything he can to destroy him, just to go back to being the only Woody on the face of the earth. This would for sure be a villain I would be pretty scared of. How about you? Get ready, because now we're going to talk about a completely brand new theory, and which, according to some, came straight out of the creative minds of some of Pixar's own employees. There's a story going around the hallways at Disney that in the next Toy Story movie, the toys we know would end up landing on an island that's completely deserted at first glance, but that in reality is completely inhabited by toys that ended up going there the exact same way as the army of Buzz Lightyear action figures from the fifth movie, through the shipwreck of a toy shipping container. However, unlike the Buzz action figures, this wouldn't have happened recently, but rather decades ago. And with a tarp that they gathered from other shipwrecks, they ended up creating a place they named the Toy Circus, and created a new society based on the obedience of the weakest to the strongest. And their leader would be a kind of clown toy that heavily resembles Pennywise. And it would be this macabre character that Woody, Buzz, Bo Peep, and Jessie would need to face, since the clown doesn't allow any toy to leave the island, so as not to reveal the secret location where they have lived isolated for so many years. Still following this exact same story about the toy circus and the deserted island, This would be the perfect opportunity for something to happen that the folks at Pixar have really wanted to do for quite some time. Permanently retire our good old Sheriff Woody. According to Disney themselves, the plan was for Andy's favorite toy not to appear in Toy Story 5, but they ended up giving in to the fact that a movie without Woody wouldn't make money at the box office. However, a sixth movie in the franchise would be the perfect opportunity to finally make this plan a reality. After defeating the clown and, who knows, putting him on a boat adrift at sea so he wouldn't go back to doing evil deeds, Woody and Bo Peep end up becoming the mayors of the Society of Lost Toys on the deserted island, who ask them to stay with them from now on. And after thinking about it for a bit and seeing that that could be the perfect place for them to take all the new lost toys they have been finding in the last few years, and who haven't been able to find new owners, like Dr. Nutcase, they accept it and go to the city every once in a while to be able to bring new toys rescued by Duke Kaboom, Bunny, and Ducky to their island, which will become a new sanctuary for lost toys. And this would be the perfect and worthy ending for Woody and Bo Peep, who are going to stay away from everyone to live a more peaceful life and know that someday all the other toys will join them when they no longer have owners to love them. The director of Toy Story 5, Andrew Stanton, stated that if they were to define the franchise's movies as trilogies, they would say that the first trilogy was Andy's, and the second trilogy would be Bonnie's. And because of that, a sixth movie would be the ideal moment for the girl to also say goodbye to Toy Story, which makes perfect sense since in this last movie she was already 8 years old. And if between the fifth and sixth movie we have a time jump of just 4 years, that would mean she'd already be 12 years old, therefore being a full-blown teenager. And between you and me, teenagers don't really play with childish toys anymore, which would seal the fate of Jessie and other toys. Only sticking around a little longer would be Lilypad, who would also be on the verge of being replaced by a conventional tablet, less childish.
Thinking about all this, then, in the exact same way that at the end of Toy Story 3, we saw Andy giving his toys to Bonnie, there is a 100% certainty that Toy Story 6 will be the movie where we will see teenage Bonnie do exactly the same thing. The question is, who would she give all her toys to? And we have a really good idea about that too. Remember we talked about how there might be a 4-year time jump between Toy Story 5 and Toy Story 6. So, if that happens, we can calculate that Andy, who was around 18 years old in the third movie, would have already finished college a few years ago, gotten married, and already have a 2-year-old son in his arms. This way, he would visit Bonnie's family because he would do the math and figure that she was already a teenager, and he would ask the girl if she would donate the toys to his little son, causing all our characters to return to the house where they lived for many years, and becoming the toys of a child who would still have many years ahead to play and have fun with them. That would basically be the final round with an owner, since after Andy's son grew up and didn't want to have toys anymore, they would all go to the Toy Circus Island, where Woody and Bo Peep are waiting for them. Speaking of fatherhood, between you and me, it is more than time for Pixar to reveal what is, to this day, the company's biggest secret: the true identity of Andy's dad. Ever since the release of the first Toy Story, his name was never revealed, even though we know he exists, since neither Andy nor Molly were conceived by the Holy Spirit, right? And it's exactly because he's never been seen that many fans of the franchise believe that at some point shortly after Molly's birth, who is a little baby in the first movie, Andy's parents probably split up and he went to live in another state in the country. Some even theorize that he would be none other than the dad of Riley from Inside Out, and that he married someone else and started a new family. But there is no evidence of this, other than voices from beyond echoing in the minds of some fans. The fact is that Andy's dad, his real dad, could finally show up and have an emotional reunion with his son, who he hasn't seen in at least 15 years, since he was 6 years old. Upon his return, he could reveal that Woody was actually his childhood toy that he passed down to Andy, and the character didn't even remember. That is exactly why, to this very day, the sheriff is the unforgettable toy for Andy, since he represented the presence and, at the same time, the absence of his beloved father. Tell me the truth. Wouldn't seeing and hearing all this be totally mind-blowing?
We've reached the end of this video, but if you like having your mind blown, this is the right place. That's why we left 2 really good videos for you to click, watch, and best of all, stay with us.